hand shall be upon the prophet that see vanity and that divine lies. They shall not be in the assembly of my people, neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Yisrael. Neither shall they enter into the land of Yisrael. And ye shall know that I am the Most High Elôheem. Even because they have seduced my people, saying, Shalom, neither shall they enter into the land of Yisrael. And ye shall know that I am the Most High. I'm hitting this again. Because they have seduced my people, saying, Shalom, and there was no shalom. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar. Say unto them which daub it with untempered mortar, that it shall fall. There shall be an overflowing shower, and ye, O great hailstones, shall fall. Wow, the Most High is talking to the hailstones. And a stormy wind shall rend it. Lo, when the wall is fallen, shall it not be said unto you, where is the daubing wherewith you have daubed it? Where's all this doctrine that you're pulling off all of these letters that are supposed to have built up this defense for you in the day of calamity? The Most High still having mercy. He said, shall it not be said unto you, you should be dead in the day that the judgment comes, if you hiding behind something that the Most High didn't say. But of course, all Yisrael shall be saved with an everlasting salvation. All right? What has to get worked out is who's going into the land. Okay? That's where the 2/3 are going down. A lot of y'all been mistaught. The 2/3 are going down in the wilderness, and the third part shall be brought into the land. But all Yisrael shall be saved from these places of captivity with an everlasting salvation. World without end. Lo, when it is fallen, shall it not be said to you, where is the daubing wherewith ye have daubed it? Thus saith the Most High Elôheem, I will even rend it with a stormy wind in my fury, and there shall be an overflowing shower in mine anger, and great hailstones in my fury to consume it. So will I break down the wall that ye have daubed with untempered mortar, and bring it down to the ground, so that the foundation thereof shall be discovered, and it shall fall, and ye shall be consumed in the midst thereof, and ye shall know that I am the Most High. Now remember what this man has said, you can't even find the man that he is talking about saying he's going to be a high priest in heaven. You can't find that anywhere in anything that he was saying. Yet this man has come behind him, and they have the two testimonies of these men in the same New Testament volume, and they refuse to, first of all, they refuse to compare anything in the New Testament. That is a big problem. You're supposed to compare what different people are saying to see if they were even on the same page with each other. All right? How are you going to say that this man is the man that you're going to follow as the true representative of the Most High, and then you don't check what the people that were supposed to be following him are saying? Because this guy's saying something totally different than he was saying. You're looking at the book as being perfect. So I know you don't like me pointing out what's false. You understand? I know you don't like that. But we don't look at books as perfect. We read the words of the book, and we look at the Most High who gave the word as being perfect. That's as far as it goes. We scrutinize everything else in the Tanakh that the Most High didn't say. We scrutinize. Hey, maybe this was mistranslated here. Maybe we're misunderstanding that. But we look at it. Because the Most High is the only perfection that we have. He charged his angels with folly. We're not going to look at the prophets and make sure that they didn't get something wrong. Because when it tells you where they got something wrong, Yaakov didn't understand the prophecy of his son Jehoshaphat. Why would it tell you that unless it wanted you to know, listen, these are men. Some things they know, some things they don't. Follow the testimony, and you'll see good and evil, what is correct, what is not. Okay? So for you to be in a reality in another book where nothing is evil, You understand? Even the guy Paul turned around and said, hey, I was not crucified for you. I was a chief sinner. It doesn't faze you people. Which means if what you think is going to happen, if that guy stands up later on and says, listen, I told them I was a sinner, they still chose to base their salvation on what I was saying. Come on, man. I'm not telling you that that's the way things have to be for you. I'm saying truth. The road to truth is objectivity, is what I'm saying to you. Objectivity. Not religion, not your passion, not your personal devotion and dedication, none of that. Objectivity. That's truth. Because these prophets, it's shown you in the scriptures, a prophet will tell you two things in a heartbeat. Hey, come back with me. I too am a prophet. Then cry over your grave. Alas, my brother, he didn't listen to the Most High. He listened to me. Don't play yourself. We're in a test. Everything that we're doing is a test. Nothing fair about it. We have to prove that we can be the people that will not eat of that tree, no matter who says what to our wife. As a matter of fact, we got to prove that we are the people that if our wife be deceived when she come to us, no, my love, don't deal with that. Where did that come from? And she recant the story we tell the story to you, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to see this serpent now. I said, we need to do a little pest control here. Don't worry about it. He beguiled you. We'll straighten that out. We go before the Most High and make sure, this is the case and that's the case. That presence of mind, understand? Having the commandment not just go in our ears, but it's written in our hearts. Okay? Other explanations for what happened in that situation would have done different lessons. Let's push through. All right. We're going to, I think we had a little enough of this guy. Okay, because once the Most High starts speaking, I really don't feel like jumping back and forth. All right, we know where our new covenant is in the Tanakh. But what I want to give you is the whole perspective of it. Because people are quick to jump to Jeremiah 31:31. That's not where this whole thing begins. It doesn't give you the perspective. You actually want to go to Jeremiah 30. Because if you notice, when you go to 31, and I'm going to go back there for a second. You go to 31, it's already talking. You're picking up in the middle of a communication that when you go to 30, it says, the word that came to Jeremiah from the Most High. That's where you want to start at. The last place that says that is locking you in with a total communication on a particular situation. If it identifies a day, if it identifies that the Most High is coming to speak to Yirmiyahu now, that means that this isn't talking about when he was speaking to Yirmiyahu in a previous chapter. This is where you want to go. And you want to look from here all the way to 31 to see if you see any break in that action where he comes at another time and then says something. Because there's certain things you want to identify. Yirmiyahu, chapter 30, verse 1. Hal'lûYAH. The word that came to Yirmiyahu from the Most High, saying, Thus speaketh the Most High, Elôheem Yisra'el, which means Elôheem of Yisra'el, saying, Write thee all the words that I have spoken unto thee in a book. For lo, the days come, saith the Most High, that I will bring again the captivity of my people Yisrael and Yehûdah, saith the Most High, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. So right there, we got our topic. We got our topic, we got the day it's talking about, everything. So now, let's see what's going to happen at this time. And these are the words that the Most High spake concerning Yisrael and concerning Yehûdah. For thus saith the Most High, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace, not of shalom. Ask ye now, and see whether a man doth travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. For it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Most High of hosts, or Yah Sabaoth, that I will break his yoke from off thy neck, and will burst thy bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of it, but they shall serve the Most High their Elôheem, and Dawid their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Okay. Remember when I said that his promise of the new covenant that he was recalling did not mention Yehûdah at all? We get plenty of information on Yehûdah and Yisra'el, aren't we? Verse 9. Verse 10. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob. Remember, Jacob is both Yehûdah and Yisrael. Don't look at Jacob as Yehûdah. Okay. Yehûdah and Yisrael are the kings of the kingdom. Okay. Dawid and the king of Ephraim, that's coming back together into one nation. But the respect that the Most High gives to mention Yisrael, to mention Ephraim, is to make sure that we understand that the stature of Ephraim was so great, and with all the tribes with it, that it literally broke the kingdom to remove them from there. It broke the kingdom. This is how the heathen were able to come up. They came up against what was left of the Davidic kingdom. Let's call it all kind of Greek names. Hey, you're no longer Israelites. You're Jews. You're the Yehudim. Even the Yehudim. Each tribe had their own name. Now everybody in is a Jew. This is Judea. You got to understand what they did. You can go into, I believe it's the books of the Kings, and you begin to see where they begin to call us Jews. The Most High never called us Jews. All right, bén-Yehûwdah, a son of the Judahites. To call us all Jews, that got into the book based on what our stature became among the captivities. And that's why the prophets are speaking to the Jews. They gotta know who he's speaking to now. Yeah, you captives. And that's all they were talking to back then, were captives. All right. So it says, 10th verse, again, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Most High, neither be dismayed, O Yisrael, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith the Most High, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee. Yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. So this is not saying that the Most High is going to make a full end. When he says, though I make a full end, it's, again, this is Hebrew idiom. It's almost like saying, if I were to make a full end of them, I still wouldn't take you out with them. Okay, but we can see clearly in the prophecy that there's going to be other nations. So that can't be taken as make a full end. But again, this is how, when we get separated into our camps and doctrines, whoever wants to go terrorize the nation and say you're all coming to a full end, then they're going to take that out of context. That's just on them. I don't teach like that. 12th verse. For thus saith the Most High. Pardon me, no, I was in the middle of the 11th verse. So I'll start that verse again. For I am with thee, saith the Most High, to save thee. Therefore, though I make a full end of the nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. And by the way, I'm not saying that the Most High speaks in it. I'm talking about the translations. Well, thus saith the Most High. In some places, it does appear that he does, but sometimes you find out that even that appearance is just a translational problem. But thus saith the Most High, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause. Wait a minute, this guy over here is talking about a mediator who's going to go and plead our cause. Most High said, there's none to plead your cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Meaning, everything that the other nations are turning to these idols for, don't bother. Whatever they're getting, the divinations and everything else, you can't get a drop of. He said, I cut you off from all of that. I'm spanking you, and no one's going to give you any relief. He told you that in the curses. He said, among the nations, thy foot shall find no rest. Period. You won't go and do what they're doing, you go ahead. They're taking your money. You throwing a bone thinking they're going to do something for you. Ain't doing nothing for you. Okay, and those who are calling themselves Israel that are able to do those things, guess what? They're not Israel. They got melanin. They're not Israel. You know some of us are not Israel. So when you see them accomplishing things that the Most High said he cut us off from, you know that they are not Israel. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. Now some people have expressed they don't understand things like this. If we committed iniquity and the Most High caused all of our enemies to come against us without relief, why is he going to come against them? Because they have taken knowledge of this. They've taken knowledge of this. If the Most High stir you up to come against an adversary, how long will you kick them? What will you do to them? The things that you're going to do to them are going to be still according to judgment. If they're not worthy of death, you're not going to kill them. But these that the Most High stirred against us, they went above and beyond. Well, they went into their personal hatred. Remember, they didn't like us in the first place. But the things that have been done to us, go read through the scriptures. This hasn't been done through any captivity. Not to us and not to the other nations. This level of hatred that we've experienced can only be fueled by profit. Meaning, you're getting something out of it. Before, all you did was get your feelings off on us. Jack us up. You understand? Buff your nails. Israel ain't nothing. Look at it. And then the Most High will let us come back home. But these people are delighting in our torture. Because this is the kind of people who've been delivered to this stuff. Hell, they tortured some of their own over there in Nazi Germany and all that, making lampshades out of them and stuff. And anybody that wants the proof of that, I'll give it to you. First of all, I'm an eyewitness. I'm old enough that when I was a kid and we moved into the neighborhoods that the whites were leaving from when they had the Equal Rights Act, a lot of the people that were there were old Nazi war camp survivors, man. The bullet wounds, the serial numbers, all of that. They had all of that. I grew up in Crown Heights. I saw all of it in the 60s. We'll have a class on that one day so I can show you why that was done to them. All right? Instead of you going with all these different conspiracy theories that they're giving you. Okay. So, we're at the 17th verse, I believe it is. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Most High, because they call thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. That's the nation not desired. Thus saith the Most High, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places. And the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the place shall remain after the manner thereof. And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as aforetime, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress them. This new covenant hasn't come yet. All of this has to happen, and the new covenant still hasn't come yet. Doesn't come till the next chapter. And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governors shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this great and engaged? Who is this that engaged his heart to approach unto me, saith the Most High? And ye shall be my people, and I will be your Elôheem. Behold, the whirlwind of the Most High goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of the Most High shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days shall ye consider it. Now we're going to the next chapter, 31. At the same time, see how it's still flowing in? This is verse 1. At the same time, saith the Most High, I will be the Elôheem of all the families of Yisrael, and they shall be my people. Thus saith the Most High, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Yisrael, when I went to cause him to rest. The Most High hath appeared of old time unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. Again I will build thee, and thou shalt be built. O Virgin of Yisrael, thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and shalt go forth in the dances of them that make merry. Thou shalt yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. And the mountains of Samaria belong to who? Ephraim. The planter shall plant, and shall eat them as common things. For there shall be a day that the watchmen upon Mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise ye, and let us go up to Zion, unto the Most High our Elôheem. For thus saith the Most High, Sing with gladness for Yahweh, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yah, save thy people, the remnant of Yisrael. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I teach them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Yisrael. Father, we're not the Most High's wife. Just another topic, but just thought I'd throw it out there. And Ephraim is my firstborn. All Yisrael is the Most High's firstborn. This is a recovery. This is saying, y'all forgot about Ephraim, my firstborn. Same way y'all forgot about Yahusef. You see how we do? We cut off parts of Israel and just keep on walking. The Most High don't forget. He's coming to get all of us. So y'all better get ready. Hear the word of the Most High, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Yisrael will gather him and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. Yah hath torn and Yah will heal. There's no place else to look. The same one who kicked us out is going to take us back. It tells you that in the same places we got the curses. You could go from Deuteronomy 28 until you finish Deuteronomy 30, and you'll see the whole scenario. From going out to coming back in, from this time forth and even forevermore. Hal'lûYAH. For the Most High, hear ye the word of the Most High, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, He that scattered Yisrael will gather him and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. So all these brothers and sisters from the other nations that you are accompanying with and trying to worship the Most High, they're supposed to be saying this. The Most High commanded them to say this. Hear ye the word, hear ye the word of the Most High, O ye nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Yisrael will gather him and keep him, as a shepherd doth his flock. If they're not doing that, if they don't have a ministry to take this salutation to the ends of the earth, they're doing sitting in your congregations for. You thought they were supposed to sit there and sing with you? You're supposed to be putting them to this work that the Most High spoke about. Therefore, they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of the Most High, for wheat and for wine and for oil and for the young of the flock of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both the young man and the old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. And I will satiate the soul of the priest with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, saith the Most High. Thus saith the Most High, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children, because they were not. Thus saith the Most High, refrain thy voice from weeping. And, first of all, the Most High is letting you know he heard her weeping.